let's get into some comic books and books. Again, rushing through today's episode, talking Violator. Todd McFarlane is doing a backstory for Violator, plus Spider Society. We have a spin-off Spider-Man book to talk about, and then a couple other things. So let's get into it. Hello, nerds, and welcome to this week's episode of The News as it pertains to comic books and books. No discussion of current storylines, story arcs, or any of those kind of details is going to happen here per se. I am, after all, a one-man organization and can't read every book that comes out and report on it and any of the news therein. But we can talk about new announcements and major changes as they pertain to any of the publishers that we follow, or just generally nerdy literary information in that sense. So let's get into all of that, shall we? And also, if you dig what's going on here, there is a much more up-to-date and possibly relevant, because it takes a second to get these sections posted up, so probably much more up-to-date version of the news in long form I like to call The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, which you can find linked in the description as well as at the end of this video. That show covers many more points of interest in the nerd community, in the pop culture community at large, and so definitely go check that out. Now let's get into all of those literary notes, shall we? No follow-ups, no corrections, no trailers, just news. All right, so Violator, the big one coming out the gate. Todd McFarlane has announced he is going to be doing an origin story for the Spawn series villain. One of the most prevalent villains in the series has never gotten any sort of backstory, and now Todd McFarlane, Spawn, now Todd McFarlane is aiming to correct that. It's not going to be written by Todd McFarlane, it's going to be written by Marc Andreyko, who won an Eisner Award, plus art from a bunch of artists: Piotr Kowalski, Kyle Hotz, Jonathan Wayshak, Gianenrico, I'm sorry about butchering this name, Gianenrico Bonacorsi, and Cully Hamner, and Randall, all artists on the project. That's pretty cool. I haven't read Spawn for years, but yeah, I mean, longest running creator owned property in comic books. There's something significant there. From that point, though, we have Spider Society. A new Spider-Man book has been announced, and it's going to be a spin-off from the Edge of the Spider-Verse comics that just started. This one is going to be launching, I did not find the date, actually. Nope, I did. August 14th. There it is. August 14th is when we're going to get book number 1. The writer is Alex Segura, and art is going to be coming from Scott Godlewski. So yeah, looks interesting. I haven't read Spider-Man, honestly, really much at all. Not one of my big comic books to read, but we will keep tabs on it and see if anything crazy comes out of it. And then our last piece of regular-ass news has to do with Assassin's Creed in comic books. What? Yeah, we have Assassin's Creed Mirage is the name of the book. The book is going to be on shelves November 6th. It's going to be a $4 book, so it's on the cheaper-ish side, and right in the middle, I guess. It's not a $6 book, it's not a $5 book. $4 is, right about where comics should be these days, I feel like. But it's going to be a 3-issue mini, so it's going to be very, very short. And it's kind of playing into more of the world of Assassin's Creed, though if it's going to be recognized by the games, still remains to be seen. That, though, is what we have for our news. Let's talk about comic book suggestion this week in a celebration of the fact that we are getting an animated series for it. Scott Snyder's Witches is your reading suggestion for the week. It's a horror book. It is a publisher. It was released on Image Comics, if I remember correctly, and it has been collected in a trade at this point. So you can just go find the trade, or if you already have all the issues like I do, then read the issues once again, because it's just good horror comic stuff. That is your suggestion for comic books this week. That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.